now that we've gone over how to write an equilibrium expression for an acid and a base reacting with water, there's one more really important reaction that we need to know how to write an equilibrium expression for. If we have a beaker with just water in it, what is the reaction that is going on in this beaker? So this will be H2O liquid plus H2O liquid. So at all times, even when we put an acid or a base in water, even while that reaction is going on, this reaction that I'm going over right now is also still going on. So one H2O plus another H2O will actually produce H3O plus, which is hydronium, and hydroxide. So a good analogy I like to make is water simply gets bored when it's in this beaker. We know that as a solvent, water is going to make up a majority of this beaker. So even while we have an acid or a base reacting in this beaker, there is so much water that on the side, water is still going to carry out this reaction. So even when we have a beaker with an acid or base, this reaction will run. And when it's a beaker of just pure water, this reaction will also run. It just so happens that when this beaker is just water, this is the only reaction that is going to run. So what happens here? So one water molecule just arbitrarily decides to be the acid, and one water molecule decides to be the base. This lone pair will take one of these hydrogens, and it will produce H3O plus aqueous. It is now an acid in water, and hydroxide aqueous in the water. So how do we write the K expression for this reaction? Well, it's still products over reactants. So K is going to equal H3O times OH minus. And as we can see, both of these are liquids. And when they react, that is when we get an aqueous species because it is now an acid or a base in the water. Just the solvent itself will never be considered aqueous. But when we convert it into something like an acid or a base, we can consider it aqueous. So we will see H3O times OH minus technically just over 1 because we will not include these in our equilibrium expression. So this equilibrium expression has a very special name. It is called KW. This represents the water self-auto-ionization reaction, which is simply the reaction I wrote right here, which is H2O plus H2O goes to hydronium and hydroxide. So this KW is the special name for the equilibrium expression for water reacting with itself. And the overall takeaway is that this reaction, whether it's a pure beaker of water or it is a beaker of water with another reaction going on, this reaction is always going on no matter what. And the products will always be hydronium and hydroxide. And we do not include H2O liquid in the equilibrium expression.